So let's dive a little deeper into the artistic component of this. And Sean, to your point, you know, we've seen a variety of different examples of art being used in, for example, the paintings that we just showed, but we've also seen some that have been more controversial. For example, the group Voina, which means war in Russia, actually set fire to a Russian police truck in a police center. And we have images right here on my screen of that. It's a little bit dark, but basically, you know, these are acts that are illegal, and obviously they make quite a statement. Talk to us a little bit about the nature of the artistic dissidence that we're seeing now in Russia.
Well, I think, you know, like a lot of art, and I think Voina is a good example of this, agitation art, and there's, of course, a long tradition of this in Russia. I liken Voina to the futurists of the turn of the 19th century who, as Mayakovsky said, slapped the face of public taste. In the sense they want to make a provocative statement and really jar the population or jar the viewer into really thinking about what this image suggests. I mean, if you take for example the drawing of the giant penis on the bridge in St. Petersburg near the KGB, near the FSB headquarters, this is a perfect example of this. It's just a shock to people's consciousness.
Well, that was a very interesting one. Actually, we have it here where they actually drew it such that this phallic symbol would raise up facing the KGB headquarters. I mean, that's a very profound statement. What has been the response of the authorities to these sort of protests?
Well, they've certainly tried to crack down on Voina. I mean, they have a couple of their members being tried for hooliganism. But they can try to do this, but I don't think they'll be very successful because of the way that these art projects work is they're well planned, of course, but they take to the streets, they're done quickly, and they make their message, and then they kind of melt into the population.
Vor, who is the founder of Voina, and we want to get some perspective from him. Vor, your art is very controversial. We spoke about you setting fire to cars and creating that phallic symbol on the bridge. Talk to us about your methods. Why do you protest in the way that you do? What is your goal?
Oh, you know, in Russia, protest is a creative job. To walk toward a revolution is our duty as artists. It appears that no one else but artists is capable of carrying out this mission. We understand this very well, and so we take the revolution in our own hands.
Now, on that front, I mean, do you have specific political demands? What do you want to see?
Excuse me?
Do you have specific political demands of the government?
Yes, we do have specific demands. First of all, we are against political police. Those people carry out of the regime's orders to physically eliminate our activists and our political descendants.
That same thread that we were talking about a little bit before, and which, you know, you touched on, you know, we have Ola chiming in again saying, besides Voina getting international recognition, after arrest, Banksy, as you mentioned, wanted to bail them out, but we also see Poles were petitioning to free them, and people in other countries that used to be, you know, part of the larger Soviet Union. So, I mean, is that also encouraging? Do you think that that movement's going to spread? There's going to be more support from outside Russia? Sergei?
Well, I think there is already tremendous support for what the Russians are doing there on the streets. There is a lot of excitement that I see in other countries in the West, all around the world.
But what about in the region, like Poland, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that kind of support will really matter and will decide how things evolve in Russia. I think most of it will decide on the way Russians figure it out themselves. What I'm trying to say here is that the authorities are pretty smart about manipulating all these images. And when some of the artists go a little over the board, and they may, you know, the authorities may manipulate that to their advantage and will use that to demobilize the
Well, and
movement.
the potential stream, I want to come back to you, Vor. Vor, what is your hope for the future of Russia?
The future belongs to us. We believe in the future of Russia. Perhaps because our beliefs is all that we have left for ourselves. People may call us fools for believing in the revolution. Fine then, we are fools. Everyone is so clever and so cowardly that the only option left for the Russian artists is to become brave and desperate fools.
Your thoughts? Your thoughts, Sergey?
Well, I mean, I admire what they're doing, and I think they're doing a great thing that really can inspire people. And I hope that they will produce the kind of art that will lift the discussion up, and that will show a contrast between what the authorities are doing, the violence that the authorities may use against peaceful people, and them.
Well, I want to get a question to you as well. I mean, are you afraid? Are you afraid for your safety?
No, I'm not.
And Vor, if I can add to that, we have on Twitter someone named Zero Discrimination saying this. He's adding context to what you said. He says you were talking about the beating of Philip Kostenko from the ADC Memorial, allegedly by the anti-extremism police. Is it possible for you to expand on that a little bit for us?
Yes. Just recently.
Just recently in St. Petersburg, the so-called Center E, which is what in Russia we call political police, have openly acknowledged that they're responsible for the recent beating of our activist Pusha. Center E thugs followed him to his apartment and attacked him, and he suffered a broken leg and a concussion. He is currently in the hospital, but we'll have our revenge for that. The Ministry of Interior will be disbanded entirely as an utterly corrupt organization. All prisons will be destroyed and the prisoners released because the Russian judicial system is equally corrupt.
Now,